Okay, as Hong Kong U Standard Chartered Foundation FinTech Academy provides not only education and training in the FinTech, but we also try to promote the financial technology and the ecosystem to the public by organizing different events. Like today's FinTech event, besides the mock courses just introduced by Professor Yu, we are also very happy to have the honor to invite the Honourable Duncan Chiu, Legislative Council member for the Technology and Innovation Functional Constituency, to share with us about the latest situation of the Web3 infrastructure development and the ecosystem in Hong Kong. So before the speech, I would like to have a quick introduction to Honorary Duncan Chiu. So Duncan has committed himself to the development of technology and innovation in Hong Kong since early 2000s. He's an advocate of local tech and innovation policies, a tech entrepreneur, a veteran investor, and is often regarded as the leading figure in Hong Kong's technology and innovation sector. So in addition to his role in Legislative Council, Duncan currently advises the government on many committees. So I think you take another 5 minutes to go through it. So I would like to just name a few, like a member of the Digital Economy Development Committee, Attracting Strategic Enterprises Committee, Committee on the Northern Metropolis, Youth Development Committee, etc. So Duncan has been a key contributor to Hong Kong's T&I development. He's president of the Hong Kong Information Technology Joint Council and convener of Innovate for Future, a FinTech representing some of the leading startups. So he's also the chairman of Hong Kong TDC Information and Communications Technology Services Advisory Committee. And Duncan has participated and in interest in over 100 technology companies and is a very experienced professional investor. He's a frequent speaker at forums to share his insights and also a mentor to young entrepreneurs. So without further delay, ado, let's welcome the Honourable Duncan Chiu.
Professor Anna, Alan, thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy to be here. And I think we miss out the most relevant committee I'm sitting in, which is the Web3 Development Committee, led by the Financial Secretary. And we're working on the roadmap on the Web3 development in Hong Kong. And with that, I think we have to go briefly into what is Web3, right? I think a lot of people were asking Web3 and Web 3.0. I mean, for me, if I want to define Web 3.0 is actually, I mean, all related to just now Professor Yu, right? Professor Yu mentioned the technology of blockchain. So by leveraging blockchain into web or mobile services that we have before, we're migrating from Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. So leveraging blockchain technology enable users to own their own data, their own transaction, their own footprint. So that's the data ownership part, which is Web 3.0. If you ask me, Web 3 in Hong Kong is mainly about leveraging blockchain to record as a digital footprint of anything that holds value. So this is why it is important to Hong Kong as a financial center. Anything that holds value, that has asset value. So I would say the digital asset umbrella falls under the Web3 regime. So what have we done in Hong Kong for the Web3 revolution? I think it started just a year ago, because I think yesterday a lot of friends celebrated 1 year mark since we announced the policy statement by our financial secretary about the development of virtual assets in Hong Kong. So it's only been 1 year. And with that year, within that year, apart from this policy statement from the government, we also had, later in December, the Innovation and Technology Development Blueprint issued by the ITIB, the Innovation and Technology and Industry Bureau. And then in around February, when we have the budget, the Financial Secretary also mentioned the importance of Web3 and digital assets. So by announcing, you can see the stage one, this policy or roadmap in the government's initiative. And then we have to go into the legislation side. So in the legislation work, we have actually in LegCo, by approving and pass the anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing bill, that actually lays the foundation for the virtual asset service platform, VASP or VATP, virtual asset trading platform. And we have conclusion and discussion paper, the first round of discussion paper on the crypto assets and also especially on stablecoin. We issue another consultation afterwards. And as I mentioned, on stage 3, we have the budget, which further enforces, the virtual asset development thesis. And then there are trial cases from the government by issuing a tokenized green bond, sold in seconds and 800 million Hong Kong dollar, which is a test case of how tokenization can work in Hong Kong. And letting people, again, I will repeat again and again, letting people know that virtual assets, or sometimes I like to call it digital assets, is not just crypto. This is a big market, and this is transforming the whole financial innovations. And Hong Kong as a financial center, we should definitely take a place in that. So don't mislead into that being just crypto asset we're talking about. So further on, we have to talk about the stage 4, if you look at the SFC's consultation conclusion, and also the proposed regulatory regime for the VATPs, which already 2 licensed players are in place. And I think one of them just announced their platform this morning. And, we have these new licensed players in Hong Kong. For now, it's 2. There are a few announced by SFC that they're processing. So we might get a few more licensed players in Hong Kong. But what the asset platforms, virtual asset platforms or exchange being licensed, what can they trade? So this is actually the next thing we have to discuss. What asset class shall we define in Hong Kong, and who can invest into these assets? So that include the asset-backed tokens, security token, utility token, government token, and also NFTs. So with that, I just mentioned there are 2 licensed platforms for now, and we have the licensing requirements. You can look for it online, as public information. So fit and proper, this kind of that. We run this very much like the financial regime that we define brokerage or other bank or finance related sector, that you have to have, asset proven. You have proven assets, you need to have experienced people that show that they're a responsible person in charge, and the governing regime, how the transparency of assets. So these are all the things that we have to govern the licensed player to provide to prevent things like JPEGs you just see in the market happening. So that's the whole reason for us to have the licensing regime, because they are back actors, not just in Hong Kong, but everywhere in the world, through the development of digital assets or crypto assets. People make use of the technology to do scams. So that's the whole reason Hong Kong have these licensing regime. Some people may think we are a bit rigid or, we're not up to speed, but I think we're definitely working at the best pace that we can do. And, the number one importance of Hong Kong being a financial center is what? It's trust. If there's no trust in the financial system in Hong Kong, there won't be investors coming in. So as long as we're doing the legislation work for these digital asset regime, we need to maintain trust in the system. Otherwise, we will just blow our reputation in Hong Kong as a financial center. And on the other hand, the whole Web3 or the digital asset, I think even cryptocurrency, is actually evolving. Bitcoin is only 15 years. What they are representing may not be what they represent in the beginning. So the whole thing is evolving, and we have to actually closely monitor and legislate. This is not just happening in Hong Kong. You can see in the US, and other parts of the world, there's a big discussion on which class of asset this belong to, what kind of regulations. So the whole thing is evolving, and Hong Kong in Asia, we play a major role as a financial center to how we deal with these digital assets. And I mentioned stablecoin is under discussions. We possibly next year will table that at LegCo to discuss the stablecoin legislation and regime. And these some other classes like security token, etc. Go through that later. And apart from getting the 2 licensed player, we also have crypto asset ETF. I think about end of last year, we launched 2 crypto asset ETF. I think which was quite successful, getting a lot of trading when they were first launched. Which is a Bitcoin related ETF and then a Ethereum related ETF, and both they trade very close to the actual spot price. And we also have a third-party certification that they have these credibility and also assets related to the amount of ETF being traded. So looking at Hong Kong and comparing to the major player in Asia that's actually working on digital asset thing, I think we totally understand where are the players that actually that working quite keen in legislating, in involving in policies that actually will support the development of the digital assets revolutions. And I think the major player in this part of the world, I would say in Asia, is between Hong Kong, Singapore, and Dubai. And comparing to the legislation side, I think Dubai runs, I would say they are forerunner, but they also have deficiency in the markets. There isn't too many professionals, financial professionals in Dubai. And the market in terms of transactional financial products compared to Hong Kong is a lot less, I would say tiny. And the jurisdiction system, court system, not as complete comparing to Hong Kong. And but they were more forerunning in terms of trying out with policies and legislations. So they have their FARA, which also lay out quite open legislation, open arena for participants or licensed player to try out new products, and they have exemption periods for many of the licensed players. And then we have Singapore. I think Singapore definitely in many sense ahead of Hong Kong, around half to 1 year in many aspects. So looking at the dealing services, advisory, exchange, etc., I think we did a lot of catch-up work in the last years to have these licensed regime set up and also the legislation. But in terms of payment, we still have not covered that part yet. In Singapore, you can have payment clearing agencies, and you can do transactions with crypto, but that's not yet in the regime in Hong Kong. And a few days ago in our LegCo discussion, also the FSTB have answered to LegCo member questions that they will possibly look into review of the OTC legislation in Hong Kong, regulations in Hong Kong. So that will involve in the OTC trading of crypto. And I guess soon we will have the discussion of that. And, stablecoin, we are about, I would say, half year slower compared to Singapore. They just announced their stablecoin regime. And as I said, Hong Kong could possibly run into next year. And crypto for retail investors, actually in Singapore, as you know, is restricted. And they ban all kind of promotion of crypto in Singapore. And I think that's also a loophole we have to fix in Hong Kong, because we can see from the JPEX scam that it relieves the promotion and advertising unregulated, things like that would happen. Because we all know, there are also thousands of cryptos in the last 10 years under the ICO craze. Many, I would say, token or cryptos being created. Some were actually run by some bank actors and, without any underlying services or use case it could be a difficult investments item that some people will run into. So these are the things that we have to legislation side to catch up on the payment stablecoin and also on the OTC issues. And what is the good thing about Hong Kong working on these, the digital assets class? A lot of people will ask, right? We see bad things that happen with JPEGs, but I mean, looking at the whole thing, the whole financial market will be revolutionized with the use of Bitcoin technology, with the use of blockchain technology. Sorry, with the use of blockchain technology. So that will actually leverage many new financial innovations. And if you look at Hong Kong, the thing when we compare to Dubai and Singapore is we have a huge financial market in here. Doesn't matter what item you are talking about in terms of asset management, the banking assets, digital payment, as we mentioned, insurance, security, trading. Our stock market is like, I think even now is at a very low level, still I think 15 to 20 times of Singapore. And talking about debts and other kind of issuance, this is a huge market in Hong Kong. And as I just mentioned, we try to digitize, tokenize green bond, which the good thing is, there are bonds issued in Hong Kong. We can all do tokenization for that, and that improve efficiencies. It shortens transaction time, better transparency, and you can sell to people in different market. So just talking about the existing financial products that we have, tokenization will do the huge benefits and more and reach more investors. And this is a prediction, I would say, released by the McKinsey, and they actually estimate this is a cycle in the Web3 and financial services development. So there will be more and more financial products that will be enhanced by tokenization or with the blockchain technology, and that it go to the the bottom part of the chart where infrastructure will also improve in the process, and with the infrastructure also go with legislation, professional guidelines, and all kind of services related to enhance the better use of tokenization. And there will be a time of coexistence between actually Web3 or tokenized financial product and traditional financial product, I call it that way. So with that coexistent time, the whole infrastructure, everything will also evolve. It will get better and better, and in the end, everything migrate to digital format. So this is, I think, a realistic estimations. And there are many classes. I only have 5 minutes. I'll rush through this. There are many classes of tokenization. We talk about real-world asset, which is a hot topic, and there are many use cases people think about, and also there are some shortcomings people think about. Whether you will have enough buyers, will there be enough tradings every day? Do you need a market maker? This and that. What is the interest level of a real asset tokenized into small fractions, etc., etc. But I can assure you, there's a lot of use cases I have come into and to meet teams working on things like these, and I think people talk about mainly now security token or tokenized assets, real asset. Mainly in Hong Kong, most people think about property, right? But there will be a lot of other use cases. I'm pretty sure in the next year, we will see some interesting use case or investment opportunities in RWA. And, just wait and see. I'm pretty sure that would be one thing that people will get as an investment option in future. Second is assets that were created digitally, digital assets. And, we see the hype on NFT related. So we all know what it is. And in Hong Kong, I think the government has actually made it clear that NFT, if it doesn't have any currency nature, it's not going to be regulated or that we don't need to regulate this market because it's just a product that was created digitally. And we made it clear on that directions. And of course, we see the time when NFT, have crazy valuations, and most of these were used for, in terms of digital asset classes, mainly on collectibles, the apes or BYCs and stuff, you can see in the last year, getting crazy valuations. And in the end, if this is a collectible asset class, I think this is an inevitable correction that we see, but it doesn't mean that NFT will have no future. We just have to understand, what it is and what are the value inside it. And if you compare that as a collectible, rarity and scarcity is always the reason behind it, the reason behind the valuation of that. So with the amount of NFTs being created in the last years, and with the ease of making it, my kid can do it in 2 days in making 10,000 different NFTs. Where is the value of that? So I think we are still we're still needing time to look into the real interesting use case of NFT, and that will give it the real valuation in future. And I think gaming and social are some area that people are working on that will leverage the benefits or advantage of NFT. So we're yet to see the real use case in that, but that's another case that we can look into. Third, definitely, apart from CBDC that we just mentioned, cryptocurrency, I think we all know what happened in cryptocurrency. It has gone through a time where, after the creation of Bitcoin and many other assets, there were an ICO craze around 6-7 years ago. And I think it comes to a time that, most government will step in and no one will allow people to just create liquidity. So, how do we deal with the existing one that being created? So whether that would be alternative asset class, Bitcoin, I think we all understand in terms of being branded itself as a currency, it will be difficult for it to have any currency with the limitation of its transaction time, et cetera. But is it a commodity or things like that? I think that's a big discussion, a big debate that we have to join in. And you look at the transaction of Bitcoin is now participated by hundreds of millions of people, and the transaction amount, comparing to even equity or many other asset class like silver, it actually has more participants and transaction amount compared to those. And we all know that value based on people's anticipations. We can always say that US dollar, in terms of repayment capability is already bankrupt. But, with the confidence in there, the currency will still be there. So, with the people's anticipation in this asset class, will very much determine the future. And we are in the process of a big discussions of all the existing and maybe future tokens being created. And I mentioned already about the volume, and this year we all know that debts, equity, property, everything fell. But one thing that actually performed quite well is Bitcoin. See a big surge in the last few months. I believe one of the reasons is BlackRock's trying to add the spot Bitcoin ETF into one of the investment item under the U.S. retirement 401k. Just letting the retirement money going into Bitcoin as an investment item is also a big move in the U.S. So we have to see, how these thing goes. We all know that if you are active participant in the market, things have changed a lot. Ethereum, is it a token? Is it a crypto? Or is it a smart contract platform? Is it user? So things also have evolved. So we just have to keep a close eye on how the market goes. And in Hong Kong, we will legislate to make sure we have a healthy environment. We will leverage the next form of financial information innovations in Hong Kong, and that we will hopefully have the government to lead in some of the use cases of tokenization, or at least endorse the use of tokenization to let people see the good thing about leveraging blockchain as a technology in the financial innovations. So my time is up. I will have to stop here, and thank you for your time. Thank you.